Welcome back, Speed Minglers, to another thought-provoking episode of Century Dating Decoded, the podcast where we untangle the complexities of modern romance and relationships. I'm your host, Dawn, and I'm thrilled to have you joining us today. Today, we're diving deep into a topic that's been buzzing across social media, whispered in group chats, and impacting the dating landscape for an entire generation. We're talking about the Cold War of the sexes, specifically focusing on the very real fear among Gen Z men of being filmed and subsequently quote-unquote cancelled. It's a phenomenon that's changing how young men interact, date, and even perceive romantic encounters. We've seen countless discussions online, from TikToks to Reddit threads, highlighting this growing anxiety. Is it justified? How is it affecting the dating scene? And what does it mean for genuine connection? In this episode, we'll explore the roots of this fear, the impact of cancel culture on personal relationships, and what it means for fostering trust and vulnerability in the digital age. We'll be looking at various perspectives and asking some tough questions about accountability, reputation, and the blurred lines between public and private life. So buckle up, grab your favorite beverage, and get ready for a candid conversation that promises to be both insightful and challenging. This isn't just about dating. It's about understanding the evolving dynamics of gender, power, and perception in the 21st century. Stay tuned, because right after this short break, we'll be diving into the heart of the Cold War of the sexes. You won't want to miss it. In an era characterized by pervasive hyperconnectivity, the ubiquitous presence of social media, and the constant threat of viral content, a deeply concerning and increasingly prevalent trend is profoundly reshaping the dating landscape for Gen Z men. This phenomenon, which some commentators are starkly labeling a Cold War of the sexes, is defined by a profound and pervasive apprehension among young men regarding the possibility of being filmed during romantic interactions. This trepidation is not a transient anxiety. Rather, it represents a deeply embedded fear that actively dictates dating behaviors, fosters self-censorship, and, in a growing number of instances, leads to a noticeable withdrawal from traditional romantic pursuits altogether. The sheer ubiquity of smartphones, coupled with the effortless ease with which videos can be recorded, instantaneously disseminated across global networks, and subsequently achieve viral status, has cultivated a high-stakes and perilous environment for young men navigating the intricate complexities of modern dating. Every casual interaction, every offhand comment, and every perceived misstep, regardless of its minor or unintentional nature, now carries the very real and immediate potential to be captured on video and rapidly disseminated across dominant social media platforms such as TikTok, Instagram, and X, formerly Twitter. This fear is particularly acute and paralyzing within dating scenarios, contexts where intimacy, vulnerability, and genuine connection are not only expected but are fundamental to the development of meaningful relationships. Yet it is precisely in these vulnerable spaces that the risk of public shaming, character assassination, or gross misrepresentation looms with an ever-increasing and terrifying presence. It is akin to perpetually traversing a minefield, articulates 22-year-old, a diligent university student. One is in a constant state of hyper-awareness that anything one utters or any action one undertakes, regardless of its original intent, could be ruthlessly taken out of context, filmed, and then, in essence, one's entire life is irrevocably compromised online. This chilling sentiment resonates deeply and is echoed by a vast number of his male peers. They collectively express a significantly heightened sense of caution, an ingrained habit of self-censorship, and a pervasive guardedness when engaging in interactions with women, particularly during the nascent and most delicate stages of dating. The spontaneity and authentic expression that once characterized early romantic encounters are being systematically stifled by this pervasive apprehension. The far-reaching consequences of this deeply entrenched fear are multifaceted and profoundly troubling. A significant cohort of Gen Z men is consciously opting to avoid dating entirely, choosing the perceived safety of solitude and isolation over the potential peril of public humiliation or online vilification. Others are adopting meticulously curated and highly guarded personas, carefully orchestrating and editing their interactions to meticulously minimize any conceivable potential for misinterpretation or negative exposure. This increasingly defensive posture, while understandable as a protective mechanism, invariably comes at a severe and often irreparable expense to genuine connection, authentic self-expression, and the development of deep emotional intimacy. The very foundations of healthy romantic relationships are being undermined by this culture of fear. Experts and social scientists suggest that this burgeoning, quote, Cold War of the sexes is not an isolated phenomenon, but rather a direct and unavoidable consequence of several interconnected and powerful societal factors. The meteoric rise and pervasive influence of cancel culture, where individuals face extraordinarily swift, often disproportionate, and severely punitive public backlash for perceived transgressions, has undeniably played a paramount role. For Gen Z men, a generation that has grown up immersed in and inextricably linked to social media since their formative years, the looming threat of being, quote, canceled is not merely a theoretical concept, but a very real, tangible, and terrifying prospect that can derail careers, destroy reputations, and inflict lasting psychological damage. Furthermore, the continuously evolving dynamics of gender relations, coupled with a necessary and profoundly increased societal awareness of critical issues such as consent, healthy boundaries, and the damaging manifestations of toxic masculinity, have, while undeniably crucial and ethically imperative, also inadvertently contributed to a climate in which some men feel intensely scrutinized, judged, and perpetually on trial. While the overarching and commendable aim of this heightened scrutiny is to foster greater accountability, promote mutual respect, and cultivate safer environments for all, it has, perhaps unintentionally, led to a distressing sense of paralysis and hypervigilance for some men. They harbor a palpable and constant fear that any innocent mistake, any clumsy word choice, or any unintentional misstep could be unfairly weaponized against them, leading to severe and disproportionate consequences. The core fear is not necessarily about intentionally committing a morally reprehensible or genuinely wrong act, elucidates Dr. Franks, a distinguished sociologist specializing in the intricate nuances of modern relationships. Rather, it is fundamentally about the devastating potential for misinterpretation, the astonishing speed and uncontrolled velocity at which information, often unverified and decontextualized, spreads across digital platforms, and the profoundly lasting and often irreversible impact of an online smear campaign, irrespective of the underlying truth or factual accuracy of the initial accusation. This highlights a critical disconnect between intent and perceived impact in the digital age. The profound implications of this deeply concerning trend for the future of romantic relationships are vast, complex, and potentially dire. The emergence of a generation of men who are actively retreating from genuine human connection and avoiding the pursuit of romantic partnership, primarily due to an overwhelming fear of public reprisal, could lead to a dramatic increase in societal isolation, significant difficulties in the formation of healthy and enduring romantic bonds, and a further, potentially irreparable, erosion of trust between genders. This widespread distrust could calcify into entrenched societal divisions. Effectively addressing this multifaceted phenomenon necessitates a comprehensive and multi-pronged societal approach. Open, honest, and continuous dialogue about the foundational principles of enthusiastic consent, the cultivation of respectful and empathetic communication in all interactions, and the urgent imperative for the responsible and ethical use of social media are absolutely paramount. This includes educating individuals on the long-term consequences of online shaming and the importance of critical thinking before sharing content. Furthermore, it necessitates a critical and urgent re-evaluation of the prevailing mechanisms of online accountability, making crucial and nuanced distinctions between instances of genuine harm and unintentional, honest mistakes. Ultimately, the goal must be to foster social and digital environments where individuals feel genuinely safe to learn, to grow, to falter, and to recover, without the constant, terrifying, and debilitating threat of instant public annihilation and permanent digital ostracization. Until such a time that these complex societal challenges are adequately addressed, the Cold War of the sexes will continue its quiet but profound campaign. Gen Z men will persist in navigating a dating world where the ever-present, unforgiving lens of the smartphone camera often feels more tangible, more scrutinizing, and infinitely more threatening than the actual person sitting across the table, casting a chilling and pervasive effect on the very essence of intimacy, vulnerability, and authentic human connection. The future of romantic relationships hangs precariously in the balance, shaped by pixels and fear. We've had an incredibly insightful discussion today on a truly pressing topic, the Cold War of the sexes, specifically focusing on Gen Z men's fears of being filmed and canceled in the dating landscape. Our conversation today has really shed light on the complexities and anxieties that Gen Z men navigate. We've explored how the ubiquity of smartphones and social media has created a climate where every interaction can potentially be recorded and scrutinized, leading to a heightened sense of caution and, at times, apprehension in dating. We touched upon the fear of misinterpretation, the rapid spread of information, and the lasting impact of online narratives on reputations. It's clear that this isn't just about avoiding negative consequences. It's also about a genuine desire for authentic connections in an environment that often feels anything but. For our listeners, it's important to remember that open communication and mutual respect are more crucial than ever. For Gen Z men, finding a balance between self-protection and genuine engagement is key. And for everyone, fostering an understanding of these fears can help create a more empathetic and supportive dating environment. Before we wrap up, we encourage you to continue this conversation responsibly. Share your thoughts, but always remember the human element behind every interaction. Join us next time on 21st Century Dating Decoded as we tackle another fascinating aspect of modern relationships. You can find more information about our podcast and past episodes on our website. And don't forget to follow us on social media for updates and sneak peeks into upcoming topics. This episode, along with all our others, will be available for streaming at File. Make sure to subscribe so you don't miss out. From all of us here at 21st Century Dating Decoded, thank you for listening, and remember to date wisely and kindly. Have a great day.